give you the first word. Are we going to get a final to match the drama, the excitement, the quality we've seen in the Champions League this season?
I think it's going to be set up to be special, Tommy. I really do. When you look at both teams, I think they've had remarkable journeys for obvious reasons in terms of the comeback. I think remarkable with Spurs, the fact that they've got to the final without playing particularly well, even in the group stages. But they've shown so much resilience. Where will Harry Kane be in terms of his fitness? That will play a big part. And I look at Liverpool, and I think if they play anywhere near their best, their brilliant best, because they're becoming a more complete team, a more balanced team, defensively strong. I would have to say that I fancy them.
Harry Kane has declared himself fit. He says, I'm ready to play, ready to go, selected. Does that boost Spurs' chances significantly, Brian?
It certainly boosts their chances because they've had toys recently, the second leg against Manchester City when he wasn't fit to play. The first, then they had the situation with Son suspended. And to have both of them available, I think is really important. What decision the manager is going to make? Does he start him? He hasn't played since he went off against Manchester City in the first leg, April the 9th, I think it was. Will he... He's no football under his belt since then. They may have had some training game to try and get him up and ready. He's such an important player for them. I feel the manager might risk it and start him.
Yeah.
It's all right saying he can make a great contribution coming off the bench, but if you're already a goal or two behind, it may be too late for a player to influence it from the bench. But they've a lot of other decisions to make, Spurs, whereas Liverpool are much more settled. There's a decision probably at centre-half between Matip, Glover and Gomez. Round midfield, maybe one from four, like 3 from 4 midfield players. But you kind of know Liverpool's team. With Spurs, it's hard to know because all areas of the pitch, they've been inconsistent this season. But they've hope from the front man, from Son, Moura, Kane.
Graeme, does all logic suggest that your old club, one of your old, both of your old clubs are playing, but the one you're most famous for playing with, Liverpool are going to win this one?
Yeah, it's hard to offer an argument for Spurs. Whatever way you look at it, you know, what generally decides football matches is the best players. Liverpool have the best players. Liverpool have less decisions to make. Only maybe for me, I think it's a choice in midfield who misses out. Spurs, you don't know what formation they're going to play in at the back and who will play in that formation in midfield. I'm not sure what he'll do there, but Winks come back. He'd like to play Sissoko, but he might find it difficult to get all the ones in there. And then up front, they start with Harry. Liverpool are in a fantastic situation where they're going into the game with great belief, settled team, having the Indian sign over Spurs in recent years. Spurs have lost 19 games getting to this final. That suggests that they can get beat on any given day. Liverpool have lost 1 in the league, 7 in all comps. But in saying all that, it's a 2-horse race. And we've all seen it before where the team that you don't fancy in a cup final turns up and the big team doesn't. And I think Liverpool will win it. And obviously I hope they win it. But it wouldn't keep me awake on Saturday night if Spurs were to turn them over. But that's the madness of football. You talked about it, your question was logic. Never try to attach logic to a football match.
Spurs, I suppose the big thing they've had going for them, Keith, in this run has just been never say die or battling qualities or like the ridiculous. I mean, 1 point from their first 3 games and putting that out of the bag, and then Man City and the semi-final. I mean, how much does that count on a night like this, a sense that they seem to never know they're beaten? Yeah,
and it's not something we've kind of associated with Spurs down through the years. We've been often labelled flaky and a little bit fragile at times. But they have shown huge character to get where they've got to, because the performances have been really poor at times. Ajax dominated large parts of the semi-finals, and different heroes have stood up to the plate, no more so than Lucas Moura. So it'd be a big call if he doesn't start the final. Do you think he would be the one to miss out if Kane? I would suggest so. I think on current form, I think Dele Alli had a better second leg of the semi-final, but overall this season hasn't been anywhere near his usual standards. Moura, Son give you real pace in wide areas if he did want to go with Harry Kane. So he could be vulnerable, Dele Alli. All right, well, because we won't see you on Saturday night, I'll give you then your chance to make your prediction. Who's going to win it then? I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. 3-1 Liverpool. Yeah. You two think about it for the next couple of days.
I don't have to think about it.
And we come back. I have a funny feeling I know what you're going to say.